Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Find Your Model Health, the official podcast for those looking to optimize their long term health goals and understand how their body really works. I am your host. I'm Shemaine Linney. I'm a fitness and nutrition expert, certified iridologist, and biohacker. I'm very happy to have you back with me on this week of love and for episode 210. This week's episode is going to be a little bit different. Every once in a while, I'll do an episode just helping us understand certain things like the history or the origin or how did this come to be on certain topics. So before Christmas, I did an episode on the history of chocolate, like where did it originate from? How did we get this delicious morsel? So today we're looking at the origin of St. Valentine's Day. And you'll hear there that I put the word saint in there. Not many people know that Valentine's Day is proposedly named after a saint, Saint Valentine's. Now, I'm doing this the week before Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is this coming Monday. And I think that people start to celebrate Valentine's Day the week before Valentine's Day arrives, not the week after. Kind of like Christmas, we start celebrating before. So this week I've been doing some posts on love and Valentine's on my Facebook page, and we're going to have this hopefully interesting podcast just looking at the origins of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day has most people thinking of flowers, chocolates, roses, maybe champagne, maybe diamonds if you're lucky, love, lots of love and romance and smiling and kindness. But where did this all come from? Why do we actually celebrate on February 14th? Where did the whole idea of Valentine's Day come from? Like, come on, surely it wasn't just another ploy by the manufacturing industry to get us to spend more money and buy heart-shaped festive things, cards, chocolates, flowers. There must be something else. So as it turns out, there is an origin to Valentine's Day. Now, nobody knows the exact true story or history behind this holiday. And even the theories that are put forward by many historians and researchers, they don't completely check out. Like, they're not fully set in stone. But we do have some idea about this topic and where the origin of Valentine's Day came from. Now, the backstory is not fully confirmed, but we do kind of have some indications of what might have happened, shall we say. So the day is named after Saint Valentine. And I actually don't think many people know that because people kind of just term it Valentine's Day. But where I come from in Ireland, and I know in Britain, we always said Saint Valentine's. But who is this mysterious Valentine? So, there is a theory that this holiday is based on a combination of two men, like two Valentines, who were executed on February 14th by a Roman Emperor, Claudius II, potentially for two separate reasons. One was Emperor Claudius II didn't think that married men with children made good soldiers, so he banned marriage in Rome. And Valentine, who was a priest at that time, didn't think that was fair, so he continued to perform marriages in secret. And then when Emperor Claudius found out, then he, of course, had this Valentine executed. And then the other theory is that Valentine, this other Valentine, he was a bishop. And he then was called Saint Valentine of Terni, and he too, unfortunately, was beheaded by Emperor Claudius outside of Rome for apparently attempting to help Christians escape Roman prisons. And because of this, before he was beheaded, he was put in one of these prisons where he fell in love with a girl who it's believed was the jailer's daughter. And he started writing love letters to her. And the day before he was beheaded or due to be killed, he then wrote her his last love letter and signed it off with "Love from your Valentine." And we still see that now on cards, and we still see people signing that themselves. So it is possible that one of these men or one of these stories was the true story. I mean, both were helping people, both were doing or practicing orders that were against the permission of Emperor Claudius. But this is where it's believed that the whole idea of Valentine's Day originated from. So, like I said, before his death, he wrote a letter signed "From your Valentine," which remains a commonly used phrase on cards and written by people now. So, there is another theory that it's believed that St. Valentine's Day was actually designated by Pope Gelasius I in order to replace the ancient Roman festival of Lupercalia, which is basically a festival around fertility, and they give praise to the Roman god of agriculture. But regardless, there's still the whole idea of love and romance around that, whether or not it's about fertility or not. We're still kind of hanging on to that idea. One story, Saint Valentine could have been helping couples marry in secret. The other story, which is romantic on a humanitarian level, that Saint Valentine was helping Christians escape Roman prisons, and then he ended up having to face that same fate, but fell in love with a girl while imprisoned. And then the other is the story that this could be the romantic aspect around fertility and giving praises to the Roman god of agriculture. However, there's also a University of Kansas English professor. He had a completely different theory, and we might as well cover it. He determined that the poet Geoffrey Chaucer linked love with St. Valentine for the first time in his 14th century works, The Parliament of Fools. My French is not great, so that's me trying to pronounce that with a bit of an Irish accent. And The Complaint of Mars. Therefore, this professor, Jack B. Arch, claimed that Chaucer invented Valentine's Day as we know it today through his poetry. So whether or not Chaucer can be fully credited, it is true that he and fellow writer Shakespeare popularized the amorous associations around this day and the love. So people, of course, began elaborating on that and penning and exchanging love letters and celebrating this day. And by the early 1910s, an American company that would one day become Hallmark began distributing its more official Valentine's Day cards, and the flowers and the heart-shaped chocolate and the diamonds and the cuddly teddy bears that go along with it. So we have the origin, potentially could have came from these saints, and then maybe was elaborated on or further brought to the public eye through our poet Geoffrey Chaucer, and then he, of course, was followed up by Shakespeare, and Shakespeare, of course, helped popularize the whole idea behind romance and love. And then we have Hallmark come in and they further elaborate on the idea, and now we have a whole holiday around Valentine's and romance and love and fertility and chocolates and all that stuff. And then we've also got Cupid. As we see Cupid on some of the most beautiful buildings in the world, some of the most pristine architecture throughout Europe are graced with images of Cupid and Cupids on clouds and on the outside of buildings, and in most of the Roman churches that you'll see Cupid playing some part in the stories and mythology of all our history. And Cupid, that winged baby boy, or that curly-haired little baby, I don't even know if you can tell if it's a boy, because some of these depictions of Cupid show him or her with a diaper on, so I'm not really sure how we could say it's definitely a boy, but it's another symbol of this love-filled day, and it's easy to understand why in Roman mythology, Cupid was the son of Venus. And Venus, of course, is the goddess of love and beauty. And he was known for shooting arrows at both gods and humans, causing them to fall in love instantly. So it's unclear exactly when Cupid was brought into the Valentine's Day story. It's certainly, you can understand why he was brought in, but whether or not it originated in Roman mythology, I have my questions about that, especially when you look through the Bible and back through all the architecture across the years. Cupid seems to go back further than Roman times, but there's definitely an association there. And I'm sure we've all seen those cartoons where Cupid is shooting an arrow. Maybe it's Bugs Bunny or Looney Tunes or something, and he shoots an arrow and he hits his target, and then all the love hearts pop up, and then that target falls in love with the first person he sees, and it brings the whole cuteness and romance and funness to the idea around it. So in the United States, in Canada, and a lot of Europe, like I said, Valentine's Day is celebrated. It is technically a holiday. People do go above and beyond to show their affection and exchange tokens and handwritten notes and cards, and just doing something special for that person that they love. It's something special. So regardless of the history, I'm going to end this at this, regardless of the history and the origin, it's interesting where it could stem from. But I think from the beginning of time, human beings always knew that love was at the center of everything, and kindness and caring for one another and showing your appreciation for those you love. And I think this day really may have been created to give us an opportunity to stop and pause and just say, hey, I love you, I appreciate you. Take the time to show those that you love and care about that you do care about them, that you do love them, that they are special to you. I know we have birthdays, I know we have Christmas, we can show our love every day, but Valentine's Day is the one day that says, stop. Remember why we're friends, or remember why we're together, remember why we're here. It's because I love you. I appreciate you. I want to show you that. I want to make you feel special on this day. If I haven't done it on the other 365 days of the year because I've been too busy or preoccupied, today I'm going to stop and I'm going to show you that I care and appreciate you. And I think that's the origin, is to remember that at the center of everything, if we're learning anything over the last few weeks, if you've been following the truckers convoy and all, everything stemmed from love. The origin of life came from love. It all comes from love, and that is the origin of Valentine's Day, is taking the time to show that you care, that you love, that you appreciate, and show those special people in your life that they are important to you. So, an interesting look there at the origin of Valentine's Day. I don't know how useful it's going to be to you, but it's definitely interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to leave it at this. I wish you all a very, very happy Valentine's Day or St. Valentine's Day and week of love. And be sure to show those that are special to you that they are special to you, that you appreciate them. Don't be afraid to say, I love you. You know what? You mean a lot to me. Okay, be safe, everyone, and I'll chat to you real soon. Bye bye.